Hey Kipsters, it's Mr. Dudley here again. In this video, I'm going to go over your Thursday lesson from April the 23rd. And this was our second reading lesson for the First Space Encyclopedia. So I'm going to go over the lesson with you today. I want to first apologize if you hear any crazy noise or loud noises in the background. There are some people outside of my apartments doing some work, and they're very loud, and quite frankly they're pretty annoying. So I'm sorry if you hear that in the background. I apologize, but that's one of the things about working at home, I guess. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with my email address. I'm gonna write my first and last name. Make sure you're doing this because this helps us know who's doing what work, and we want to make sure that you get credit for the work that you're doing. So if I'm your teacher, you would select me. And then for today's lesson, we start out by reading page 60 from First Space Encyclopedia, which we did read on Tuesday as well. So I'm not going to reread through page 60 again for you and 61 because we've already read through both of those pages together. So the objective for today's lesson was to be able to use, or excuse me, not today's lesson, from Thursday's lesson was to use text features to locate information efficiently. So being able to use the different text features within the book to help us find any information that we might want to know. I'm going to go ahead and go next. So these are, when you see like a little gist or anchor chart like this is the things. These are pretty much like your CFS. So this is like telling you what a good reader does to find while they're reading. So it says good readers usually think about the following things when they are attempting to locate relevant information by using text features. Now this is an important word right here, relevant. Now we put that word in there because sometimes we see people where you may find the right answer, but you don't have the correct text evidence, or you don't have relevant information to what is being asked. And that's important because sometimes you might get it right, but if you aren't practicing finding the correct and relevant information, relevant means it relates. So if it doesn't relate to what the answer or what you're trying to learn is, it's not relevant. That's what we're trying to get you to practice. So make sure when you're finding your answers, you're finding relevant information or details that connect back to your answer or what you're trying to find. So these are the reading thinking steps. Like I said, as a good reader, these are the 4 things that I should do while I'm reading so that I really am learning everything I'm supposed to learn. So step 1, ask a question about the text. So I'll do that when I start reading. Step 2, choose keywords that can help you find the answer. So once I ask myself a question, then I can find keywords in the text that might help me find the answer to that question. Step 3 says scan text features for the keywords and images, headings, subheadings, captions, labels. All those different text features are benefit to me as a reader. They help me as a reader. If I use those, I am much more likely to learn all the important information that the author wants me to learn as a reader. And then step 4 is to read all the relevant text features to answer your question. So while we are going through and reading today, we're going to look at the text and ask a question about it and answer some questions about it based on what we're reading, and we'll find those answers within the text features of the book. So let's go ahead and move on. I'm not going to watch this video with you. You should have watched this during your lesson. This is just explaining kind of the most important part of the reading thinking steps in step 3 and step 4. Like I was saying, you have to find relevant details. If you're not finding relevant details, then you're not getting your best practice that you need. So it says, now that we practice with the thinking work, let's dive into some text-dependent questions and apply your thinking. Text-dependent means that I can find the answer by reading the text. Text-dependent questions. I think you're ready to try this on your own with some text-dependent questions. Good luck. Well, I think we're ready. For this next TDQ, use the CFS below to help you draft your answer. Text-dependent question. For this next TDQ, use the CFS below to help you draft your answer. That's what this just said up here. It's just restating the directions. New information I learned. So, does it use keywords from the question to guide the search for information? In other words, am I using the right keywords to help myself find relevant information? Is that based on relevant text features? Am I using the correct text features? And combining or bringing all of it together, all the information from the relevant text features to help me find the answer to my TDQ. If I do that, I can find my answers to my TDQs. Like I said, I'm not going to read through that page until I read my question, and then I'll go and read my question and I'll go back into the text to find my answer. However, that's what I'm doing because I've already read the text. So when you're doing this on your own, you don't need to skip down like me and go and find your question first. You should read first and then answer the questions. I've already read the text, and so that's why I'm not going to read it for you again today. So the question says, how can you use text features on page 60 to 61 to help you locate information about Earth's crust? Well, let's see if we can find anything about Earth's crust. Third rock from the sun? No, not quite. Is the only one capable of supporting life. That doesn't say anything about the crust. And what I would do if I was asked to find about the Earth's crust, a key word is crust. So if I can find crust, then I might find my answer, and that'll make it much quicker for me instead of having to read all this. I can just look for crust. I don't see crust in here. I don't see crust in here. I don't see it in here. I do not see the crust in here. The crust is not talked about in here, so it's not even on page 60 yet. It says the earth has layers. There's no crust there. Oh, a moving crust. The earth's surface layer or crust is a shell of solid rock. This crust is broken up into plates which shift around constantly on a middle layer of molten or liquid rock. The earth's core is solid. That tells me about the crust, and that is a little subheading, right? And it's got a paragraph underneath. It shows me the plates it was talking about in the moving crust. So I have a couple of text features there that help me locate information about the Earth's crust. The first text feature is the subheading, and I have to go back, a moving crust. And I should put that in parentheses so my teacher knows I got it from my book. The first text feature is the subheading, a moving crust. The second text feature that shows the crust is, what did we say? The little picture of the earth and its plates, right? Showing us how the earth is broken up into plates by its crust. So the second text feature that shows the crust is the picture, or I would say illustration because it's not a picture taken with the camera. The crust is the illustration of the plates moving. Or of the plates. I'll say of the plates because we can't see the plates moving in the picture technically, right? So we got a good answer. The first text feature is the subheading. The second feature is the crust in the illustration of the plates. I'm going to move on. I'm not going to go over Miss Daniels' exemplar, but you see the word is crust. A moving crust tells me about that. To understand the earth and the earth's surface through the picture, we were right on track. She's just highlighting the text feature, the most important part of the thinking steps that we said and finding relevant text features, meaning they relate, they're relevant, they relate. So, what does the author want readers to understand about the third rock from the sun? We're not going to watch that video because we don't have that much time. I'm sorry. So, we're going to go ahead and keep going. Use the criteria for success to help you evaluate your answer choices. This is the same CFS that we went through the whole entire lesson, so I'm not going to read that again. Again, I've read the text already, remember? So I'm going to go right to my answers. And since you should have read the text once by now, it's okay for you to go right to the answer, because then you can go to the question number one, and then you can go and find your answer, and your brain will remember where you read about it at, remember? So what makes Earth a perfect place for supporting life? I would read the answer choices first so I know what I'm looking for too. The atmosphere, which keeps the temperature stable. I remember reading that. The sun, which makes the deserts very hot. I don't know that that makes Earth a perfect place to live if the deserts are very hot. People don't live in the deserts. That's probably not a good answer. See, the deserts, which are the perfect place for camels. Well, that tells me why it's a good place for camels to live, but it doesn't tell me necessarily why that Earth is a perfect place. And the crust of the Earth, which holds in the molten heat. So let's go see out of A and D, because we eliminated B and C already. That doesn't tell me why Earth's a good place to live. So I'm going to look and see if I can find anything about the temperature or the crust of the Earth keeping in the molten heat. It says the middle molten liquid, the Earth's core is solid. That doesn't tell me anything about anyone living on Earth, though. Nothing on there about the molten heat that the Earth holds in tells me why people should live there. But I remember that it says up here, Earth is the only planet in the solar system capable of supporting life. It's the right temperature. Oh my goodness, that's almost word for word an A right there. Let's go to number 2. What keyword and text feature could you use to find the answer? The keyword animal, that doesn't tell me anything. The keyword life and the heading third rock from the sun. Life tells me something about living. I agree. Third rock from the sun, the title, that doesn't tell me a whole lot about living, but I'll keep it as a possible answer. See, the keyword atmosphere and the diagram of the solar system. The atmosphere does tell me why I can live here. That's good. But the diagram of the solar system doesn't tell me about why Earth is a good place to live. So that's not a good answer. D, the keyword life. Ooh, remember, that's a good keyword. And the sidebar, a warm blanket. I should go back and reread that and see. A warm blanket. The Earth's atmosphere and oceans play a crucial role in keeping its temperature stable. The question was asking me about the atmosphere keeping the temperature stable. That's what it says word for word in a warm blanket. So I'm going to take that as my answer. Which text feature tells us where volcanoes and earthquakes are common? Let's see. A moving crust section on page 61. Danger zone section on page 61. Halo around Earth on page 61, or caption on 61 about molten lava. Let's go see what tells me about volcanoes and earthquakes. And those are my two keywords, volcanoes and earthquakes. And I'll keep common in as a keyword as well. Not the question mark, common, excuse me. Let's see where I talk about volcanoes. Oh, here's a volcano. That's by danger zones. Let's see, volcano, no volcanoes here. No volcanoes here. So the only place that talks about volcanoes is in danger zones. Let's see. A moving crust. Let's see. No volcanoes. Danger zones, that tells me about volcanoes. The halo around the Earth tells me the Earth is spinning and it takes 24 hours to spin. The caption about lava is telling me about lava, but it doesn't tell me where. Where are the danger zones, right? Those are the danger zones. That's where it's scary to go. So that's how we know that that's the answer to where volcanoes and earthquakes are common, because they're found in these danger zones. and they are common. It says that right in the text. So great job. We got through the lesson. I'm super proud of you. I appreciate it. I hope you have a good weekend, and I love you. Goodbye.